What we could say is that philosophical Taoism most often uses the metaphor of water to describe the way that the universe works. And there are many different sayings in the Tao Te Ching, which, for instance, says that the Tao is like water. It finds the lowest point possible, the place that people abhor to live, meaning that the river or the watercourse way moves down into a place of humility, and that is why it's the greatest thing. The greatest or largest thing. So it's like a path of humility, and it's always talking about course ways, waterways, water courses, etc. And so the primary metaphor of health and wholeness becomes an understanding that that which is the healthiest is in flow state, and that the only definition of pathology, again, whether it's physical, intellectual, emotional, or spiritual, or, of course, energetic, to use that word, is a state of blockage or stuckness. Right. And, of course, that's something that any therapist, psychologist, change worker, life coach watching this can relate to, that we all have our ways of helping, but ultimately we're co-creating with our clients around the very point where they got stuck.
So, as you're saying that, I'm wondering, has anybody ever tried to kind of not really translate, but transpond or whatever what Freud said, cathexis, stuck energy, into Taoist thought?
Right. Well, Freud gets a bum rap, doesn't he? But if one were to actually read the original...
He's the original energy psychologist. You could make an argument.
He actually got a lot right, especially in Civilization and its discontents.
Yeah, he got a lot right until... there are certain issues he got wrong, but... Right.
Sure, but the idea of libidinal energy, at least he's referencing something, and he's referencing flow states and stuck states in his own language pattern.
Right.
But he's talking about being stuck and what needs to occur in order to unstick it.
It'd be fascinating to kind of, because he's also stuck in, I guess, Victorian Europe.
Oh, sure. Product of his times and his place.
But it'd be interesting to imagine what would, if Freud were Chinese, what would he have said? Wouldn't that be, I mean, I'm just like, how would he have called it libidinal states? Like, what would be, why is he, why use that metaphor? Why refer to sexuality, libido? Well, maybe that's not even totally fair.
If we could create a fun video that says Sigmund meets Lao Tzu, they would have a lot in agreement. For instance, the idea that part of the energy is sexual in nature, or we could say, like using a yoga chakra kind of way of talking about energy, we could say it's lower chakra energies.
Right.
In Oriental medicine, we have the three treasures, which are all ways of describing qi, and it's Jing qi, which does include sexual energy, creative energy.
Right.
Think about all the lower chakra energies. It's survival energy, and then it's also, like from a biochemical point of view, all the endocrine systems, all the biochemistry of the body is included as Jing qi. And then there's what we would call qi, or the electromagnetic field of the body. And then there's shen, which is spirit. And so when an Oriental medicine physician, acupuncturist, or Qigong practitioner is talking about the three treasures, yet again, they're talking about a transformative relationship between the three, that they're connected.
Right.
And the reason, the purpose of activating Qigong, energy exercises, which I personally include tapping and chakra balancing and so forth within the school Qigong, is to move the baser energies, like Jing Qi, kind of like a refinery, and that we are refining them within the cauldron of our system, and we're raising the vibration from the more base element to the electromagnetic element, ultimately to the spiritual element.
Could you also maybe suggest maybe it's also the other way around? That at least in this culture, we spend, in the Western culture, there's a lot of energy spent on saying how lots of stuff is wrong.
Mm.
Sex is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Anger is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Repress it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be it. Don't express it.
Mm-hmm.
And the irony is the more you suppress, the more it, expresses in some bizarre way. So I don't know how that would fit from a Qigong perspective, but it seems to me, at least, a lot of what I do is help people feel, hey, it's normal for you to have these feelings. I mean, accept them, allow them to flow, because, and then then it becomes no big deal after a while. Then you can evolve it. You can't. A lot of people. There's what's the spiritual bypass.
Yes.
In fact, I did a TAT session with someone who was doing spiritual. I mean, she even got that she was doing spiritual bypass.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, she totally got it.
Yeah.
And it was because God, I'm not angry, not me.
Yeah. I've forgiven everyone.
I forgive everybody. Yeah, okay, right. You know.
We are all one.
Right. And so it's like part of it was like doing a TAT thing, even though I'm, or even though I'm really angry.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're angry today, right now. 30 seconds from now, if you didn't fight it so much, maybe you could let it go. But you can't let it go before you accept it.
So I think the greatest models of spiritual mastery that many of us are honored to meet are our children. And so the greatest model of emotional health is actually the toddler who is associated to their emotional state before we've socialized them out of it.
Back to civilization.
Right, exactly.
Right, exactly.
And so, a toddler that can say, one of the things I remember my 4-year-old telling me once when he was displeased with me, he said, "Dad, you're not a Demolina anymore." And I said, "Oh, I've just been terminated from the entire clan." And then, of course, within 2 minutes, "Dad, I love you so much."
Right.
But in that sense, that's emotional health because that's a free flow expression of energy.
Right.
As many of us use.
Eric Byrne called it the free child.
Right. Emotion, energy in motion.
Right.
But there isn't a repression.
Right.
So then, of course, as good parents, we know, well, my beloved child can't exist with that level of intensity and that level of honesty. So we start to socialize them into etiquette.
Right.
And of course we know we have to, but the real trick is being able to have a place of integrity with emotions while simultaneously being able to have a interpersonal relationship with each other in a way in which we can all continue to get along.
This is so much fun. Are you kidding?